Have you ever felt stuck or even paralyzed in the face of your client's pain? Heard a story about everything that they've been through, that they've survived, and realized, whoa, this brain is an incredible brain, and this brain has been through so much. And as that story unfolds, notice that they have a lot of beliefs that are harmful and difficult to live within, or that their body is carrying memories. These experiences are hardwired deep into our neurobiology when we experience trauma or stress. And I'm really excited to share with everybody this new innovative way that we can work with the client's brain to bring them back into alignment and not just return to a baseline of how we want the brain to function, but actually grow and expand. My name's Dr. Kate Truitt. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist as well as an applied neuroscientist. And I am one of the co-developers of the Havening techniques as well as their chief science advisor. And next week on May 30th, I'm going to be hosting a one-day introduction to the foundational protocols of Havening, where we'll be diving deep into the impact of trauma and stress on the mind and body system, how it foundationally changes the way our brains are navigating the world, whether it be our clients or our own, and learning new tools to create innovative and sustainable change for our clients in a very gentle as well as self-applicable way. What that means is these tools are not just for clinical care, but we'll be learning how to support our clients in building an at-home toolkit to integrate this work into their day-to-day lives so that they can do their own healing on the go. Can you imagine that? Not only are they able to do really deep neurobiological healing in session, but they can also take these tools and bring them into their day-to-day life. Now, this might sound pretty cool. It is. I'm biased. And also, if you've heard about havening, you might know that it has a very interesting mechanism of action. So havening utilizes gentle, soothing touch to create foundational change in the way our brain is processing information in the moment. Touch is one of the oldest sensory experiences that our system has. And when we utilize gentle, soothing touch, these little motions that are things we do when we see somebody we care about, or even when we're upset about something. You ever had a stress headache and rubbed your fingers across your brow? Well, turns out those touches, or even wiped away a tear, actually change the way your brain is processing information. And the founders of the havening techniques, Drs. Ron and Stephen Rudin, identified that we can harness gentle, soothing touch and bring it into the clinical space as well as the healing space for our own home care work. So how does it work? Well, in our skin, we have little receptors that respond to soothing touch. And our brain, as we know it as mental health practitioners, is thinking and feeling and experiencing the world all the time. And so we can use touch as a mechanism of action to partner with a very, very primal part of our brain known as the amygdala. I've lovingly been calling her Amy the amygdala for well over 20 years now. I'm a specialist in the neuroscience of trauma and resilience. And I'll never forget the first day I realized that the amygdala has our back. And yet, for those of us who work in the field of trauma or who have experienced trauma, we know that our amygdala can create some pretty difficult experiences like fight, flight, freeze, even fawn, and in extreme situations, defensive rage, blackout rage, and dissociation. Touch partners with our amygdala. It's a warm, fuzzy blanket that we can use to shift the way our brain is functioning. And the havening techniques involve a suite of protocols that guide our brain to not just release and reprocess traumatic experiences like we see in tapping and EMDR, but to also allow us to partner with the brain to build resilience and personal empowerment. And in this workshop, we'll be going deep into all of these neurobiological experiences so that even if you don't end up using havening with one of your clients, you'll have a much deeper understanding of how the brain is functioning, but also to teach you integrative tools to bring into your clinical practice to enhance all the other work that you're doing. I'd like to take a moment and share a personal story. So, as I shared, I've been in the field for over 20 years. I've been an expert in the fields of neuroscience of trauma and resilience since I was 20 years old. I started working in rat labs when I was 20 because I wanted to figure out why my own brain was in so much pain. And 15 years ago, I experienced a very, very intense traumatic loss. I actually write about it in depth in my memoir, Keep Breathing, that was recently released, and talk about how, despite knowing everything, quote unquote, that I could about the neuroscience of what's happening in the mind and body in a moment of pain or trauma, it didn't matter because everything I knew was not accessible. And so I was an expert in the very thing that ended up causing me extreme pain for a very long time, PTSD and panic. And then the book is literally, Dr. Frank Anderson lovingly coined the term, he called it a thriller, as it was my brain taking me on this roller coaster ride. And it wasn't until I experienced the impact of the havening techniques that I got my brain back, because the techniques worked directly with my amygdala. I'd already been trained in EMDR for 10 years at that point. I'd already been studying the alphabet soup of trauma treatment for so long, but there hadn't yet been a way that I had come across to help us partner with the amygdala to create long-term change. And this was almost 10 years ago where I had my first experience. And as I shared, I'm now a co-developer. And one of the opportunities I've been very lucky to experience is to integrate these tools into the field of mental health and to support practitioners in learning how to partner with their clients' amygdala and their own, we all have them, while also enhancing your existing clinical toolkit. So in the workshop, we'll be exploring how do we bring the foundational havening techniques protocols into internal family systems and parts work? How do we utilize it to enhance EMDR? How do we enhance the work we're doing with emotion-focused therapy? How do we work with those sticky cognitions that can keep us so paralyzed, so locked in? Those thoughts that flow through our mind like, I'm stupid, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, I'm not worthy. All of these feelings and thoughts that can paralyze us and our clients and make the work that we're trying to accomplish so much more complicated in the therapeutic space. Here's something that's pretty cool. Our brain has 86 billion neurons. Each of those neurons has around 1,000 different connections to other neurons. That is a lot. And if we're trying to work from our thinking brain down into our emotional brain or even our body, we are going to be requesting that our brain fire thousands of neuronal connections to make a small incremental change. Now imagine taking those top-down interventions like internal family systems, like cognitive behavioral therapy, and enhancing them with a bottom-up experience that partners at a fundamental level with the part of our brain whose number one job is to keep us alive, the amygdala. Not just partnering with it though, because we're going to do that and we're going to help the amygdala heal. We're also going to help the brain change how it's processing information in a moment so that we can, for some of our clients with developmental trauma, build the neural pathways that should have been, but weren't because of their childhood experiences, or even learn protocols to help the clients connect back to their fundamental experience of who they are, harnessing past positive memories and body anchors to build a new way forward. Havening techniques fundamentally empowers us to not just heal the past, but to create the present and build the future that our clients want to live in. So I really hope to see you on May 30th. It's going to be an incredible workshop. Be sure to join us and learn these new tools. The future of mental health is an integration. It's bringing the brain, the neurobiology into our treatment programs to enhance outcomes, build resilience, and fundamentally empower our clients to be the best version of themselves.